road is wet. We're in a 2002 Mustang GT. My man Kevin's behind the wheel. You ready to tear him off?
I'm gonna try.
Lay into it.
Oh, wet road. Oh, we got some spin. We got some spin,
Minimal spin, minimal.
All right. 260 horsepower is not gonna cut it. That's why we got a Pro Charger in the shop.
Okay, so we're driving our 2002 Mustang around, trying to get a feel of the car and what it needs and what it's like. I'm telling you, man, tired, lazy, sleepy, whatever you want to use to describe it, it comes out of the hole like a herd of turtles.
Yeah, but it is a convertible.
There is that.
I mean, that's not making it go faster.
No.
But it's a start.
Yes, but that's okay. There are things like Pro Chargers, exhaust, things that really wick and turn these things up.
Yeah, we know two guys that might be able to put all that together, right? Make the puzzle fit.
Yes. All right, so enough of this joyriding. Let's get to the shop, get this thing torn apart, and see if we can get some real power out of this thing.
This wasn't really a joyride, man. It was just kind of a
matter of fact,
ride.
I'm sleepy.
All right, take a nap, man. I'll wake you up when we get to the shop.
All right, man, thanks.
We weren't lying, man. We told you we had the Pro Charger laying out in the shop.
Yeah, we have it all. Everything you need to take that little 281 two-valve motor to the next level.
Yeah, the 462 valve, pretty anemic, as you know. We were out there messing around with it. But this is the type of system to turn that wick up.
And at the heart of it is this Pro Charger, centrifugal charger. All right, now it's gonna run off that belt, off the front Fiat system. So the belt's gonna turn this, and it's gonna spin this impeller at a really high rate of speed. That's gonna pull a lot of air into it. And then it gets in here, and it gets converted and squeezed as it goes through the whole process, just basically allowing a lot more air to be shoved into that motor. More air equals more fuel equals more power.
Yep, here's the fuel part, that's the air part, here's all the other parts.
Now we gotta round up all these parts and throw it in there.
Yeah, so rally along with us, man. We'll deep dive into each of these as we start installing them. Today's gonna be a fun day, man.
All right, now a good little tidbit of information is import the tune before you ever turn a wrench on the car. You want to do that so you know that the car will accept the tune from Pro Charger. Now what we did was actually save the O-tune, okay, into our Diablo Sport, which comes with the Pro Charger kit. We send that out to Pro Charger, and within 24 hours, they send you back a tune, which you could import into the car. It's easy, it's simple. All you have to do is follow the steps in your Diablo Sport, a few buttons, and it's all handled. Takes that headache of finding somebody to tune your car out of the equation because it's all right here on a handheld device that comes with the kit.
All right, well, Willie's in there playing video games or something. I'm gonna start the deep dive of deconstruction. So the air inlet system here is an easy first starter. We'll pull that out of the way, disconnect our MAF. And then, you know, we're gonna have a supercharger up here with some belts. We got some intercoolers, so this area is gonna get some mods. We got some injectors to do, fuel pump. So follow along, man. We are in it.
You know, my mama used to say, now we cook it with grease.
That's right.
And throw a bunch on the pan. Well, now we cooking with grease. We got some things out of the way, moved the reservoir tank out, got some of the hoses out of the way, got this throttle body out of the way, exposed this fuel rail. Now we get to some of the good stuff, some of the upgrades.
Yeah, now we know we want to push a lot more air in there. That's the supercharger part.
Amen.
But now we got to make sure we can get the fuel in there to match. Now that's going to come from a bigger fuel pump, which we'll install in a little bit, and bigger injectors. So you can see we cleared out the space, so we've got good access. We can just simply lift the rail up, lift the injectors out.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Dirty injectors, too.
Then we can make sure the bores are all clean. We can put a little bit of lube on the new injectors here, and we can make sure we slide them in without damaging any of the O-rings. All right, now the cool thing is this kit with the calibration is calibrated for these injectors. So it's gonna match. So once we drop them in, that calibration is gonna make up for it and we'll be good to go. All right, 2 more. We're gonna take a break. We'll see you guys back in a little bit with a lot more progress.
This segment of Two Guys Garage is brought to you by Woodward Fab, quality metalworking equipment since 1966.
Let's get that wimpy thing out of there, man.
Let me show you this thing.
All right, so obviously the old radiator and our Fluidyne new radiator. And right out of the gate, man,
yeah,
show them those cores.
Dude, look at this. So here's most likely 1 core versus 3 cores. So you have this tube in here, and you got air blowing through these vents just trying to wick away heat. Well, only 1 core doing all the work, where in our Fluidyne, you have 3.
It's kind of like having 3 radiators stacked up. So that's the extra cooling capacity, especially when we're making all this horsepower. Now, on top of that, check this out. This is a direct fit. Now, Fluidyne makes incredible stuff. Right, all the fittings and everything else is all ready to drop right in, which is awesome.
And if you notice the quality of work, hand-tigged in Mooresville, North Carolina.
That's
Got some
USA,
friends.
baby,
Yeah,
NASCAR
man.
land. And speaking of NASCAR, this is the same core, this intersection, that they make the race car radiators
There you
with.
go.
So with that, I think we better ditch that thing, but we're not going to keep a few of those odds and ends.
Yeah, we'll like this.
Get this thing dropped in, and we'll keep going on that supercharger.
That's nice.
It's great. Oh yeah, man. We have the radiator installed so we can now handle all this additional heat we're gonna make from all that power.
Yeah, man, power adders. When we get one of these superchargers into the shop, my man Kevin and I get really, really happy. Now, when you think about power adders, especially superchargers, there's a couple different kinds. This is centrifugal, okay? This is gonna be out there in that cold air, and that cold air is gonna get sucked in when this impeller, which is all billet, starts spinning at a high speed. And I'm talking, they get revving. So it's gonna pull all this cold air in. In this housing here, this volute, it's gonna stack up into pressure, which turns into basically positive manifold pressure or boost.
Yeah, now another thing too is you talk about heat and where it's getting it, whether it's compressing it and making it itself, getting it from the engine, getting it from a turbo side. Well, in this case, it's got a self-contained sort of gearbox back here with its own oiling system. So it's not taking hot oil from the engine, right, to come in and lubricate the thing. It's self-contained, again, out in the cooler surfaces. Now, speaking of that gearbox, right, this is the part driven by the crankshaft. Now, front end of turbochargers and superchargers, I mean, they could be 100,000, 200,000 RPM or more, depending on its diameter.
200,000.
Crazy. So there's a really high step-up ratio in here to go from crank speed to get this impeller wicked
Really
up as
turn it.
fast as you want it to make all that boost.
Yeah, man, and boost is power. More air means more fuel, means more power.
Yeah. Now, once it comes out of here, it's still going to be compressed and it's going to be building up heat.
Yes.
So we've got an intercooler, which we'll get to in a few minutes on all the installation.
Yeah.
But essentially, you're taking the warmer air or hotter air, you're cooling it through the radiator, passing it through here, an air-to-air system, and then it'll go back into the intake manifold and get shoved in the
And
motor.
also, all of that helps with lag, with a boost threshold, where it really comes on. Like turbos, they need that heat, they need it to spool up, and it takes a minute. Whereas these, sure, there's a little bit of lag, tiny, but well worth it on the efficiency side.
And when it comes on, baby, it just skyrockets. So typically you can make a good bit more power on the top end with one of these than you would on a root style blower.
Yeah, for sure, man. Well,
Let's start going over here. Let's see, we got the tools already stacked up, and all we gotta do is align a couple of bolts, get this belt routing kind of right, and boy, this thing will be mounted here shortly.
man, they make these things over 3,000 horsepower now.
Oh yeah. That's a good number, man.
Yeah, 3,000.
That's a great number. And I need some slack. Oh, son. And then here's that last one there. If you wanna... Yeah, man. I like the routing. I think we're on it. So
alignment looks good.
let's get these tightened up.
Okay.
Then we can snatch the belt back on and start running our plumbing.
Man.
All right, man. We officially have a supercharger bolted onto this car.
Yeah, man, there's nothing wrong with that.
Now it's all the rest of the stuff. So right now, it's the kind of plumbing in with obviously the intercooler. We're gonna start mounting up here in front of the radiator first. Ooh,
Nice, not bad, right?
cool. All
Now-
right. You got a fastener for me?
ProCharger incorporates, you know, a couple mounts down here, and then where the factory hood mount is, there's a little L bracket that they include. Makes it really easy and simple to do.
Okay, so there was some power steering lines running through here. Those will just get moved out of the way a little bit. And once this is mounted, we can kind of mock up the rest of our plumbing pipes, right? So out of the supercharger, we're going to feed down in here to the intercooler to cool it. It'll come back up, aim over towards the throttle where we're really making that maximum boost.
Yeah, and really, it's all about inlet temperatures. Air to air, air to water, all their job is to cool that charge down going into the motor, prevent things like detonation and so forth. The most consistent is this air to air. You can have like an air to water, but the efficiency is really nice for a second, and then all the ice melts, or the water gets heated up, and then all your efficiency and sort of things go right out the window. Whereas this, you're going to get a constant cooled charge into the motor.
Right. So we'll get this thing fully mounted, attached, and keep on routing this plumbing.
Now we're continuing with the mock-up portion of the program, getting that charge from our mounted supercharger to the intercooler. Now, all I need to do is get this little coupling on here. All right.
Right, now we can kind of thread the needle here with some of the additional tubes and elbows. Yeah. Oh, dropping in there, nice. All right. Okay. Now this, right, from the compressed air, it's coming around, looping toward the front, right, to that intercooler, and make a little elbow 90. Ooh, my side's looking good, man.
There we go.
Oh, yeah, man.
Now,
okay.
This is important because sometimes they'll go you extra length, sometimes you want to trim it. We'll come back through here, put all the hose clamps on there, make sure it's all good, but this is a great opportunity to zip tie anything away and so forth. Make sure you get a good fit.
Yeah, man, so we're gonna keep rolling on this thing. In the meantime, we're gonna take a break, keep making progress.
That's good, eh?
All right, the last step on the fuel system is to make sure we have enough. So we gotta put a bigger fuel pump, but our fuel pump is hiding in the tank.
And the tank comes out fairly easy. Always a couple straps, some quick disconnects, a few plugs, and she drops right out.
Yeah, and you can see there's just a couple of fasteners on the top. This module comes out, and as you can see, it may look complicated, but it's pretty simple. You've got a sock filter over here to get the big stuff out. This is your float system here,
Nice.
so, makes your gauge move back and forth. And we'll get it over here on the bench, and we can start to pull this thing apart. Why don't you show them the new pump that's going in there,
Yeah, this is
man?
the new pump. It's interesting because, the stock pump just won't handle what the Pro Charger demands. And you start throwing a lot of air at it, and all of a sudden those increased fuel pressure needs, you're gonna have to put in something like this. Now, this is a replacement pump, and it's gonna run really all that volume. Not necessarily pressure as much as it is volume, just, gallons per hour, because this thing's gonna be sucking it up.
That's right. Now, this is pretty simple. I can see this plastic guy is already kind of broken, so we might want to get a new housing, but if you're in here carefully, you can start to pull the connectors off the pump.
Nice.
Yeah. And I might as well get this
And
out
some of these
way.
over time will get hard and brittle. Just sort of approach it with a little bit of caution. Nice job.
Yeah, so I'll get that out of the way so we don't pull those wires. And really, man, sitting right inside here is the identical pump.
Yes.
So all we got to do is pop this cap off, change this to slide right in there, put it back together, and drop it back.
Yeah, what's cool is they have these now where they'll supply it in tank. You remember the old days when you would have an enormous fuel pump outside trying to pull it? Well, nowadays, these little pumps in the tank work really well to get that adequate fuel pressure we need for that Pro Charger system.
Yeah, man. Keeps it quiet, keeps the fuel cool.
All right, there's a little more clip.
There she is. All right, so there's our old pump to pull out of there, and the new pump to drop in.
Nice. I'm gonna get working on this. Kevin's gonna drain the tank so we can fill it with 93, and we got exhaust to do next. Okay, so we addressed kind of things pre-combustion, got a lot more air, a lot more fuel in it, and then we had to get after it post-combustion. How to get all that gas out? Well, we did it with the Gibson Performance exhaust system. Now, what we have up there is their Superflow dual exhaust catback system, right?
Yeah, so this one's nice. You can get different sizes, 2.5, 3-inch, stainless, mandrel bent, great flow. Now, we went with the Superflow muffler on our kit, but for us, we like the Attitude one,
Right.
And they have another option called the muffler with Attitude, the MWA.
Yeah, and this is kind of unique, man. I haven't seen this before. This is a cutaway, so what does it got going on here?
Yeah, so they're kind of necking down a little bit, getting a little velocity, and that's kind of pushing a little bit of gas into this volume to slow them back down again,
Yeah.
but it creates this cool, aggressive,
Nice.
growl sound, man.
Throaty
without the
sound.
drones.
Yeah, man. And the drone is what you want to get rid of, that constant zzz, almost like a vibrating noise
But
inside
the
your car.
growl is what you want to add. So good combination. You got a couple of choices. So as you can see, we've got this thing all buttoned up. So this end is done. We just got to wrap up the loose ends on this supercharger so we can go have some fun.
Said it. Couldn't say it better. Now, guys, this is a difficult conversation to have. I need to talk to you about your rear wiper blades. Seriously, it's the most underperformed maintenance out there. And from Anco, the rear blades, these are by far the best. And they come in different shapes, different sizes. But let's be honest, half of the cars since the year 2000 have blades. 41% of cars manufactured since the year 2000 have rear blades. And you guys are not doing a good job.
Right, and half of them you can't see out the back.
Yes.
It's a safety thing, man. It's, you know, it makes your driving just that much less stressful. So
Right.
it's easy to do. You pop one off, you pop one back on, you're set to go. Federated Auto Parts has all your Anco styles, you know, whether it's the beam type, right, little blade protector on there, your integrator, your conventional, all the little connectors. I know it gets confusing, but the
Right.
guys will help you get the right one for your car.
Yeah, you'll think about us next time you're out in some snowy, rainy conditions and you can't see out your window. So trust us, go change your rear wiper blades. Pick these up at Federated Auto Parts, the Anco rear wiper blades.
This is always one of our favorite tools in the shop from Workshop Hero. It's Metal Rescue Rust Remover Bath.
And we say one of our favorites because we don't have to do anything besides drop whatever we need into the bath. It does it all itself.
Yeah, it's a rust remover, and it's basically on the soak principle, right?
Sure.
Let it soak in there, and you can see, right, it pulls away all the rust, but it doesn't damage anything like chrome, paint, rubber. I mean, you can put anything you can think of in here. Your hands, it's water soluble, it's water-based, non-toxic.
Non-hazardous, reusable, and biodegradable, and now it comes in a concentrated form. If you want like a little can of it, you add a gallon of water to this, and you get the same as the regular big punch.
Yeah, what's cool is it starts out clear, and you can just keep reusing it, putting it back in the jug, and eventually when it just totally blackens out, time to get yourself a fresh batch, man. Now when you're done soaking your parts, AKA relaxing,
Yes.
Yep, come over here with the dry coat, give it a mist, coats everything nicely, keeps it from rusting indoors for up to a year.
Nice.
One of our favorite set of products in our shop. I guarantee it'll be in yours.
Game changer alert.
Oh,
All right,
yeah.
seriously, how many of us are guilty of this? When you have a parasitic drain, you disconnect the battery, you come back in a couple weeks later, you put the battery back on,
wrong with that,
and
man?
you get it
It
go.
works, right?
Well, finally, there's a tool to resolve all of those problems. It's from Electric Motion. It's called the PDT Heartbeat 1001, and this thing really is a game changer. A conclusive pass-fail result, which is awesome. A 100% battery interface, so you can actually run the car, fire up all the computer systems while it's running. So this is how simple it is. You put your negative cable here, you plug that into the machine, put that on the battery, fire up the car, all the computers, and you can actually run it.
Yeah, what you don't realize is there's a lot of modules, a lot of things on a vehicle, keeping your lights on, right? Keeping access going on.
Sure.
Communications that kind of run for a long period of time. And what you want to do is watch the draws tick down over time and make sure they all shut down. And this tool right here helps you find which one of those is still on, causing that draw. Whether it's a new vehicle and it's a communications module, or an amplifier in your radio, or it's an old vehicle and there's a diode that's out in your alternator, or maybe a corroded relay that's really causing you havoc.
Hours upon hours with the ammeter, those days are over. From Electric Motion, it's the PDT Heartbeat 1001 for parasitic drain testing. All right, from LMC Truck, these are gonna make a lot of people really, really happy. It's their instrument cluster backing plate, and these weren't available before, but much like everything when it comes to a truck, LMC Truck has it.
Oh yeah, and you think it's so simple, but really, man, this is your gauge cluster, all your little lights and indicators. Well, when this thing starts to break down and get brittle and cracks over time, you know, everything starts shifting and you can't keep it all together anymore, and it just you know, it doesn't make you happy when you're driving
Right.
down the road. Everything's cockeyed over there. You
Yeah,
know?
and it just brings that light back. Has a different sort of plastic ambient light. You know, you've seen all these lights where the heat gets to it, it cracks, the lights fall through. And any make, any model LMC truck really has you covered. We're talking brackets, the bumpers, the braces, you name it, you'll find it in these.
Yeah, if you're doing a restoration, you got any kind of truck, SUV from the 40s on up for your Dodges, your GMCs, your Chevrolets, and your Fords.
Yeah, man, they got any elbow pads in there? We're gonna need a little elbow grease, some cleaning. When we come back, that Mustang is in dire need of a polish, and Kevin's the man to do it.
No, he's the man. He's the man. Hey, welcome back, gang. We got our 2002 Mustang now, fully supercharged. We got the exhaust system on there. About ready to give it back to our customer. We got a little Wizard's Mist and Shine to clean her up nice and shiny before we do the handoff.
Exactly, man. Now, you know how it is. You probably got a car. You like to keep it clean, especially something you put a lot of work and time in. I live back on the dirt road, man, so I'm always using this stuff, always having to get out. You get all the dirt, dust, debris off the car and so forth. And besides, man, that's your ride. You got a little love. I like this stuff because no waxes, no solvents, it doesn't streak.
Yeah, now a mist and shine type product like this, really what it's for is if you're at a car show, your car's all clean, it's wax or whatever, this gives it that extra gloss, right? You don't see any streaks. It gives you that blue ribbon instead of the red one.
Yes.
And as us hot rodders, right, we're always meeting up somewhere where we're driving there. Our car was clean, but we show up, it's all dusty. So a good tip, get yourself a little dust brush and lightly dust the, you know, the dirt and stuff off so you're not scratching when you come in here, and you can do a little shine up like this, and all of a sudden you roll up to your buddies,
Boom.
and you didn't stop at a car wash, you just did a little dust off and wipe, man. You look like you're ready for the show.
Yes, indeed. And one, long streaks are always best as opposed to circles, okay?
Yeah,
So
all
there
right.
you go.
Well, we're gonna finish getting this thing shined up. We probably need to go for some test drives first, and then we can hand it back to our
Most
buddy.
definitely, most
Yeah.
definitely. So I'm gonna clean him up. You guys take care, man. Appreciate the time. All right,
All
we'll
right,
see
man.
you soon.
See you next time, guys.
Two Guys Garage is brought to you in part by Federated Auto Parts. Best parts, best people, best service. Vehicle transportation provided by Pilot Transport, auto hauling specialists.